The Minions are everywhere, but did you know they've been popping up in unexpected places across your favorite shows? Let's see if you've caught them all. First, in the movie Mortal Engines, there's a wild surprise hiding in a museum scene. The story takes place in the future, after the world has fallen apart and cities roll around on giant wheels. One of those cities is London, and its people collect old stuff from the past, like relics from the ancient world. But among the broken statues and tech, something yellow pops up. It's the Minion. Yes, really. There they are, treated like legendary figures from lost history. The Minion, ancient gods? Apparently so. The show Mad is known for making fun of everything, and Despicable Me didn't escape its radar. In one episode, they show Japanese versions of popular movies, and one of them is Despicable Me, but with a twist. If you pause and translate the Japanese text, it talks about Uncle Fester and his helpers. That's clearly a joke about how Gru looks like Uncle Fester from the Addams Family. But it gets better. The Minions show up dressed like him too. Bald heads, dark robes, and even one rocking Wednesday's long black hair. In the Netflix cartoon Gravity Falls, Conspiracy Department, there's a strange moment that calls out the Minions. The characters are deep in a conversation about secret projects and mind control. Then one of them brings up the idea that Minions weren't just made for fun. They were actually created to mess with people's mind. Not by mistake, but on purpose. It's said like a joke, but it hits hard. Because if that was the plan, it clearly worked. Kids, adults, grandparents, everyone knows the Minion, so maybe that silly little yellow army is smarter than we thought. Creepy, but kind of genius. In the short film The Dog Days of Winter, there's a fun surprise for Minion fans. It starts off with Mac, the Grinch's loyal dog, trying to help his grumpy green buddy. But right at the beginning, something weird shows up. The Minions are there, shivering and surrounded by snow, with the Illumination logo glowing behind them. First, it seems random, but then we see what's really going on. They're actually trapped inside a crystal ball. The Grinch is shaking it like crazy, making the poor Minions bounce around like snowflakes. It's fast, it's funny, and super easy to miss. In one of The Simpsons Halloween specials, things get extra weird. The episode shows different versions of the family from strange alternate worlds, but one version stands out. They look almost exactly like the Minion. Tiny bodies, little legs, and round goggles over their eyes. Even Maggie has changed. She has one big eye, just like some of the Minions do. It's quick, but the resemblance is obvious. Yellow skin? Check. Goofy look? Check. It's like The Simpsons and Minions are part of the same wild cartoon family. Annoying Orange started as a web series, but it got so big it landed a show on Cartoon Network. In one episode, there's a kitchen meeting with a bunch of veggies sitting around like it's super serious. But then, three onions walk in, and they look oddly familiar. They're wearing blue overalls, round goggles, and they've got that same goofy look. One has one eye, the others have two. Sound familiar? They're clearly dressed like Minion, but with onion heads instead. It's quick, silly, and fits perfectly with the show's random humor. Even in vegetable form, the Minions find a way to show up. In the amazing world of Gumball, there's a quick but funny nod to the Minions. In one episode, Gumball and Darwin are helping their mom, Nicole, learn how to use a computer. While clicking around the screen, something strange pops up. A character that looks just like a Minion appears, but with flipped colors. Instead of yellow skin and blue overalls, this one has blue skin and a yellow jumpsuit. The goggles, the shape, even the stance, it's all there. Gumball couldn't resist sneaking them in. In the movie The Lorax, there's a cool Easter egg that ties into the Minions' bigger universe. While Ted, the main character, is rummaging through his things, he opens a drawer to find something unexpected. Among random items, like a nail and a battery, there's a figurine of Stuart, one of the Minions. It's a small detail, but it's a funny little reference that shows how the Minions are part of Illumination's animated world. It's easy to miss, but once you spot it, you can't help but smile at the clever crossover. Even in the Lorax, the Minions find a way in. In an episode of American Dad from the 12th season, the Minions make an unexpected appearance at a harvest festival. At the prize booth, the character mentions some Meon, claiming they're like Minions, but more fun. These Meons are dressed in colorful Jamaican clothes, and many of them are holding cigarettes, which gives off a strong Bob Marley vibe. It's a bit of a heavier reference, mixing in some cultural elements that might catch you off guard. It's not your usual lighthearted Minion moment, but it's definitely memorable in the world of American Dad's wild humor. In Family Guy, the Minions pop up in a couple of unexpected ways. First, Brian gets a DVD as a gift, and if you look closely at the back, you'll spot tiny versions of the Minion. It's a quick Easter egg, but it's there. Later in the episode, things take a darker turn. A small Minion shows up at an audition, but this time it's in a much more adult setting. The little character is auditioning for a movie with a Hollywood producer who's clearly a reference to a real-life controversial figure. It's bold, and certainly not a typical Minion moment. In the 2016 movie The Secret Life of Pets, the Minions Minions make a fun cameo, and they actually show up even before the movie's release. In the promotional teaser for the film, Bob, one of the main Minions, is seen interacting with Mac, one of the movie's main characters. Here's the twist. Bob acts like he's the pet. It's a clever little role reversal, and the scene is hilarious. You get a glimpse of how Bob is just as mischievous as ever, but this time, he's the one in the pet's shoes. It's a small moment, but it's hard not to love. At the end of The Secret Life of Pets, Norman the hamster finally makes it home. As he wakes up his sleepy owner, take a close look near the lamp. There's a small minion figure sitting there. Yep, it's Stuart again. But he's not the only one showing up. In the final party scene with all the animals, Mel the pug joins in wearing a full minion costume, this one clearly styled like Bob. Between both scenes, it's clear the Minions are celebrities even in the pet world. Honestly, who wouldn't want a Minion costume for their dog after seeing that? The Simpsons just can't resist poking fun, and the Minions are no exception. In one episode, the Simpsons visit a theme park called Grunion. That name already sounds a lot like Minions, and the connection doesn't stop there. All around the park, you'll see mascots that look like twisted versions of the Minion. They're short, round, and wearing different costumes, but the shape and goggles are a giveaway. It's clearly a playful jab at Illumination's yellow stars. But the fun doesn't stop there. Later in the same episode, we get a second nod to the Minion, this time in Comic Book Guy's store. While grabbing a soda from his desk, he accidentally spills it on a nearby poster. What's on that poster? A bunch of tiny orange characters, dressed in traditional Jewish clothes, wearing yarmulkes. But the funniest part is the title at the top, Minyan. It's a clever play on the word minions, blending cartoon fun with a bit of cultural humor. The Simpsons know how to sneak in layered jokes, and this reference is both unexpected and hilarious. In another Family Guy episode, Peter becomes rich and important. Lois tries to ask him for money, but instead of answering, he gives her a tiny yellow card. Then he tells her to speak with one of his minions. It's quick, but sharp. The card even has two little eyes on it. No doubt a nod to Gru's helpers. It's both a joke and a visual reference packed into one moment. Just like always, Family Guy takes a swing at pop culture. And yep, that little yellow card speaks louder than words. Even the Minions would probably laugh at that one. In the Lorax, there's a blink and you miss it nod to the Minion. If you look closely at Ted's sneakers, there's a little logo stamped on the side. It says Gru Shoes, a clever shout out to the big boss of the Minion. But the fun doesn't stop there. Right in the middle of that logo is a tiny image of Stuart, the one-eyed Minion himself. It's quick, easy to miss, but definitely meant for fans who love catching hidden details. Leave it to Illumination to sneak in their yellow buddies wherever they can, even on a kid's shoot. In The Secret Life of Pets, there's a quick cameo that true fans might catch. While the dogs are hanging out in the park, take a close look at the background. Walking by is none other than Gru himself, just casually strolling with his pet. It's fast, silent, and super easy to miss. But once you spot him, you can't unsee it. He's not causing trouble this time, just out for a walk like any regular guy. In The Secret Life of Pets, there's another little nod to the Minions hiding in the kitchen. When Duke shows up at Max's home, things get tense fast, as the two dogs stare each other down, take a peek behind them. On the fridge, one of the magnets has a familiar shape. It's the iconic Minion logo. It's a quick blink and you miss it detail, but it shows just how well known the Minions are, even in a world full of talking pets. While Duke and Max are stuck in the sewers with Snowball's crew in The Secret Life of Pets, we meet a tough pig covered in tattoos. When he turns around to show what humans did to him, one tattoo stands out. Right there on his back is a unicorn, and not just any unicorn. It's the exact fluffy one that Agnes gets in Despicable Me. It's a small but sweet callback to Gru's daughter, who's one of the most lovable kids in animation. Even the Pigs Inc. couldn't resist paying tribute to her favorite toy. If you thought the Grinch and the Minions only crossed paths once, think again. In an Illumination Christmas short, the two characters team up once more, but this time it's the Minions who take the lead. They decide to cheer up the Grinch, and how do they do it? With a Christmas light show, of course. But here's the sneaky part. Right in the middle of the show, the lights spell out Illumination's name. It's a clever shout out to their own creator. The Minions are always up to something, and this time, they made sure to throw in a little self-promotion. That's the end of this Minion hunt across your favorite shows and movies. But here's the real question. Are Minions taking over pop culture on purpose, or are we just noticing now? Tell us what you think, and what crossover you'd want to see next.